What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to a brand new Football Manager 2016 tactics video. I've done one episode in this series. Go check that out first, otherwise this one won't make much sense. There'll be a link down below in the description. Today we are taking you through the attacking side of this tactic and exactly how it works. I've already covered the tactic itself. I'm going to do the attacking today and then the defensive tactic in another video. This is an invincible Football Manager tactic. Now, the game I'm actually showing you through right now, it's a save that I do offline, and I'm actually at Atletico Madrid, but I have just left them. I was managing Leicester City, and as you can see, this is last season. Now, obviously, they weren't invincible, but a lot of these defeats, as you can see, there's 4 defeats. It only shows 3 there. 4 of them, pretty much all 4 of them, were right at the end of the season when I wasn't too bothered because I was going for the Champions League victory, which we did actually get. I'm going to talk you through 3 matches today that happened throughout the season and show you exactly the different types of goals we score and the result of it, how it comes from the tactic basically. That's all coming up in this video, through the attacking side of this tactic and exactly how it works. I've already covered the tactic itself. I'm going to do the attacking today and then the defensive tactic in another video. This is an invincible Football Manager tactic. Now, the game I'm actually showing you through right now, it's a save that I do offline. And I'm actually at Atletico Madrid, but I have just left them. I was managing Leicester City, and as you can see, this is last season. Now, obviously, they weren't invincible, but a lot of these defeats, as you can see, there's 4 defeats. It only shows 3 there. 4 of them, pretty much all 4 of them, were right at the end of the season when I wasn't too bothered because I was going for the Champions League victory, which we did actually get. I'm going to talk you through 3 matches today that happened throughout the season and show you exactly the different types of goals we score and the result of it, how it comes from the tactic basically. That's all coming up in this video. Before we get into it though, drop a like, comment, subscribe. It would be much appreciated if you do enjoy this type of content. Let's jump into the video. Okay, so on screen you kind of seeing the tactic. It wasn't actually like that because I remember I managed it. Emre Can was actually sat here with Talisman and Kante was the only man actually leading the line forward, so it was the tactic that I did show you in the previous video. Again, link will be down below in the description. That was in the Champions League final. We did draw 3-3, conceded a lot more goals than we usually would, but again, it does show that we do have attacking intent. But I'm going to go to 3 games. I'll just take a look at what games we've actually got. So we've got a 4-0 home win against Chelsea, a 1-0 away win to Arsenal, and a 3-0 away win to Ipswich. To talk you through our goals, we'll go and find the first game, which will be the 4-0 game against Chelsea right now. Okay, so here is the game. As you can see, Chelsea dominated possession, which I have said before in the past. This is exactly how this tactic works. They dominate possession, but we just score goals, and we score them for fun. As you can see, a 6-0 aggregate win over Chelsea in the Champions League semi-final. It was 4-0 at home, 2-0 away. Michy Batshuayi getting a hat-trick, as well as Riyad Mahrez adding to make it 4 in the home game. We'll take a look at all 4 goals and analyse them for you right now. Okay, so one common theme you're going to see with this, we're going to be camped into our own half, and then we're just going to break with numbers very, very aggressively. I'll just let this roll on, and then I can compare it to the other goals. So here's our first goal in this game. So as you can see, obviously Chelsea are actually bringing the ball forward. You wouldn't think we're going to score from this, but Kante recovers the ball very, very quickly, looks out wide to Mahrez, and this is the type of game where it's not using the wingers as such. As you're going to see now, Kante, simple ball through to Batshuayi, and he just tucks it in. This is showing that the tactic can play down the middle when it wants to. I know in the last video I mentioned width is very, very important, and a lot of the goals do come from, you know, the wide men in this formation, in this tactic. But obviously this game highlights that it can actually come from straight down the middle. Here's the second goal. It looks very similar. All 11 players camped into our half. Chelsea have 10 in our half. They're hitting us with loads and loads of pressure, but all of a sudden we hit them on the break with huge numbers. I actually think this might just be one where it's, you know, pretty much straightforward. Yeah, so as you can see, long ball forward. Doesn't work out first time. Kante straight over the top, Batshuayi, and it's 2-0. Simple as that. Counter-attack, one ball. Very, very effective. And that's why I want to point out this formation is perfect. I mentioned last time, that player that sits in that 8, the centre mid role, he's got to be good at playing passes. You need someone like Steven Gerrard or someone like that in that role at all times because he picks them passes. In this game, I made us play very, very counter-attacking football, so we didn't really push our wingers on that much. That's why you're going to see most of the goals were just straight balls through to Batshuayi and he just tucks them in. That's because obviously Chelsea are a very, very strong side, But if the wingers were actually pushing forward, you'd see Kante spreading the ball, which you're going to in the next video, you know, in the next few games against Arsenal and against Ipswich. Kante actually plays the ball out wide, which then gets the ball across. But in this case, you know, you can exploit the middle, play them balls straight down the middle. You've got to have a strike with pace, as we do with Batshuayi, because he just gets behind the last line of defence. And you've got to have someone who can pick a pass, in this case, you know, N'Golo Kante. But it is also important that that player, Kante, or, you know, whoever you have in your team, is able to regain possession as well. There's no point, you know, having someone like Gerrard's passing, but then he just cannot tackle for his life, because he's not going to get the chances to actually play them passes. So you need someone who can do both. And Kante is a perfect example of this in this team. Let's go on to the next goal and see how it, you know, it's similar to the 2 goals we've already scored. Okay, so for a change, we're actually on the ball on this one, but I'm just going to pause it right there. Look how defence-minded we are. So there's our left back. As I said in the previous video, only one, you know, full-back tends to push on at a time. Our right back's over here. Got our 2 centre-backs who are pretty much, I know one's in their half, but they're pretty much in our own half. Keeper's well back on his line. Here's one of our defensive mids covering. There's the other, Emre Can, and then I believe that's Kante. So Kante, as I said, plays very, very advanced compared to the 2 other defensive mids. Then you're looking at quite a narrow-ish formation. Riyad Mahrez kind of breaks that trend, but everyone else is kind of camped around here. That's Batshuayi, and I believe, yeah, that's Jordan Ibe. So very, very narrow formation, as we know we're trying to hit down the middle. Just going to play it on a bit more for you. I believe it's literally 2 more passes here. So there's the 1 ball, and Kante yet again through Batshuayi. Too much pace for the defence. And you know what's coming. There we go, 3-0. Easy as that, 38 minutes in. Got 1 more goal in this game, and yeah, it's before half-time. We do actually score through Riyad Mahrez. We're just going to jump to that now. This goal's, you know, slightly different, but it just shows... It shows the resilience of the team. So, ball comes in from corner, it's cleared. Mahrez actually picks it up. So, Riyad Mahrez is the scorer, and he's the man that's retreating maybe like 35 yards away from goal, just to recover that ball to get it back into the box for the team. Talisman just holds it up. That defender makes a huge mistake leaving him. He should have just let this guy go to the ball, or even say if he was that desperate, Fabregas, to go to the ball, you know, the defender should be covering him. Leaves Mahrez in, you know, absolute acres of land. He just picks the ball up, and it's a simple goal. But I'm just going to try and rewind ever so slightly. Just literally a matter of inches. I don't think it's going to work. We may just, yeah, we're going to have to watch it fully back. It's not too long anyway. I just want to point out how many players were in that region of the goal mouth, you know, when Mahrez takes this shot. So as you can see, obviously, we've got Talisman breaking back into the box after taking the corner. Kante doing his role just on the edge of the box. Mahrez, you've got Jordan Ibe, you've got Emre Can, you've got Batshuayi, you've got, who's that? I can't, that's our defender, that's our centre-back, Nicolas Soulé. And you've got Ramaganoli. So these 2 guys are our defenders, you know, our right back and our left back. They're the only 2 back. Everyone else is literally within the 6-yard area. Well, you know, within that region of the 6-yard area. Within the goal mouth, essentially. As Mahrez is going to take that shot. I know there's a lot of Chelsea players there, but the double marking players, as you can see, them 2 are on him. He's a bit isolated. 2 on him, 2 on him. He's just in no man's land. Mahrez, he's just getting picked up, and that's the thing about this formation. The opposition know that they've got a double mark, and that just leaves so much room for your most creative players if you play it correctly. And obviously Mahrez has just got so much time, makes it 4-0. Very, very easy. I'm going to go on to the next game, which is a 1-0 win away from home against Arsenal. Very different goal, but we'll just take a look at it anyway. Okay, so as you can see, this is the Arsenal game. Currently 25 minutes in. It's 2-2 on aggregate at this point. They got 2 away goals. So we really needed to score, and 25 minutes in, as you can see, the stats are on the side. Again, Arsenal dominate possession, nearly 60% for them. Both little teams shooting a lot, both, you know, relatively on target. We had 2 clear-cut chances, they had none, which obviously we'll come to that in the defensive part of this tactic analysis, but that's in a separate video. The fact that we do restrict clear-cut chances is such a huge thing in this tactic. I'm just going to go back to that actually at the end of this video to touch on how many goals we actually conceded in the league. It really wasn't many at all. But I'm going to let this goal roll out and then we'll take a proper look at it. So obviously Arsenal playing it out from the back. One thing I just want to point out, the kind of structure of this team right now. You're probably thinking, why is the 5 men at the back? Well, there's our right back. There is our 2 centre-backs. Actually, that's not even our centre-back. There's our left back. There's our defensive mid, so he basically covers the whole of the back line, providing, you know, wherever the ball is. So the ball's on the right-hand side, he's on the, you know, right-hand side or left-hand side. Then you've got, who's here? That's Emre Can, and you've got Kante. So Shan's going to start tracking back. You can already see Mahrez is starting to double back. because they know how much pressure could come on the team. So Chamberlain's going to make the move, and as you can see, it's Talisman and Emre Can. They hunt in twos. This midfield three, so there's Kante as well, they just hunt after the ball constantly. So Ramsey still got 2 men on him if he releases it. So Kante goes. Who else is going to go with him? Straight over, as you can see, it's Talisman, I believe. So Kante goes again. It's a bit too far out to hunt in twos, but the second you just seen then, the second the ball went forward, someone was straight on him. Kante releases the ball to Batshuayi, and we start to move forward from here. Goes out wide this time, so, you know, first time the ball's actually out wide. Jordan Ibe into our left back, and as you can see, left back's getting forward. I know our right back's starting to move forward, but he's not making too much ground. I'm just going to check who does actually score this. It's Jordan Ibe. So Ibe, he's actually one of the deepest men in this position. You know, there's 5 players in front of him, and he gets the goal. So you're just going to let it play on. Ball goes across goal. Now look at the desire for these guys to get into the middle. That's one thing I want to point out. So Ibe sprinting into the boxes. Batshuayi's, recovering the ball. Mahrez, and look at that space. He can shoot. He can score himself. But Jordan Ibe, you just know, because this is how the formation plays. They're just going to cross it. There's already 3 men on the penalty spot waiting for it. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players in their box. They've got 10 in their box, but it still wasn't enough. Got a right back on the edge of the box as well. You just camp forward. You throw everyone forward, then you camp in your own half, you know, when you're trying to defend. But Mahrez squares the ball. I know it hits the keeper, but Jordan Ibe's just there to pick up the loose pieces, and that's because we had that many men in the box. We get the goal, and as I said, this tactic's perfect, because then I know I'm comfortable that Arsenal can have 60% possession. They are not going to score. We've got that away goal. We're winning 3-2 on aggregate. We're going to hold on to this game, and that was only in the 26th minute. We go on, and as you can see, down here, there's hardly any highlights at all. Arsenal, a lot of possession, a lot of passing, doesn't count for anything. When you're playing this formation, when you're playing against this tactic, it's very, very hard to beat. We're going to go to the final game now. It's a 3-0 away win to Ipswich, and these goals are very, very similar, but very, very different to the ones I've already shown you. Let's go and take a look at that game. Okay, so I said this game is very, very different, and it is, because as you can see, we actually dominated this game. 56% possession away from home, 20 shots, 8 on target, 8 off, 3 clear-cut chances, and we score 3 goals. It's perfect. An 8.34 average match rating across the whole team. That's unbelievable. You made up when one player gets an 8.34, but when the whole team gets an 8.34, that's superb. Look at the running our team does as well. Now, it's not all about that, but they covered 11 kilometers more than the opposition. That's basically like having an extra man on the pitch. It's simply superb. But we're going to take a look at the first goal. Let's just check who it's scored by. It's scored by Jordan Ibe. So we'll just let this roll on. This is probably the least... it's probably the least similar to the other 2 goals, but it's still got its similarities. So it's not actually Kante or the playmaker playing it out. It's actually Vieto who's our striker, but he looks out wide. As we're dominating, as I said, when you're not going to dominate the game, you play down the middle. But when you are, you play out wide. Use that width. Use all the players you can. And as you can see, there's pretty much, I know it's not a complete straight line, but there's pretty much 5 players in a straight line. They're just going to move towards the goal. Gray's on the ball. All he's got to do is beat his man, and he knows if he puts the ball in that area, there's going to be at least 2 men attacking it, maybe 2 more, maybe 3 if he really busts a gut. But as you're going to see, he's just going to put the ball into the box. Jordan Ibe is already waiting there. Now you've got 4 men in the box, only 5 defenders, for Ipswich. Actually 6, but he's nowhere near anyone, and you can guarantee we're going to get on the end of it. And Jordan Ibe just tucks it home. Maybe a goalkeeping error. He probably should have saved that, but that's what you want. You want players in the position at the right time. Going to move on to the next goal quickly. This one is scored by, I don't even think I've got a chance to see it. It's going to be scored by N'Golo Kante. So Emre Can picks up the ball. It's Talisman, and look at that. You can just predict what's going to happen. There's runners all the time. It doesn't matter who it is. You've got Vieto there. You've got, who's this? You've got Jordan Ibe, he can run in behind. You've got your left back, he can run in behind. You've got Kante who eventually scores. He just finds a huge gap right down the centre. You've got Demarai Gray who can just run in behind there. But as you've just seen, Kante, he was stood next to Gray, and he just busts a gut just to literally get past them 2 defenders. Creates a huge gap, and no one's even near him when he takes that. He could even square it there. He could square it there if Vieto gets onside. But he doesn't need to. It's the confidence in the team. He just tucks it in, and it's 2-0. It's literally that easy. there's just gaps between every, the line of defence, the back four. There's gaps at every single point in that defence when you're playing like this, because the playmaker knows exactly who's going to make a run, and the other guys, the other players, they know exactly who's going to run. They know if Jordan Ibe's going to make a run. So then the defender's going to get fixated on Jordan Ibe making that run, which opens a huge gap for the striker, because then the centre-back and the left-back, or the centre-back and the right-back, go with the runner. Creates a huge gap right down the centre, as you just seen there, and Kante just slides in, because the two defenders here, the right-back and the centre-back for Ipswich, they feel that they're under pressure on this left-hand side, because as I pointed out, the left-back and Jordan Ibe, they've got so much room to move down that left-hand side, so they're covering themselves. Creates a huge gap. Kante just sees it, runs right through, sees that there's such a huge gap as well. I could just keep talking about gaps. There's such a huge gap between the defence and midfield. Kante can just use that, run straight through it. No one even challenged him. It's actually brilliant. I'm probably like making it sound like so much, better than it is, but genuinely it's what you want to see from a manager, because this is literally how you set out your team. Let's take a look at the last goal and see how it plays out. Okay, so this one was scored by Vieto. Now, I just want to point at the minute we win the ball, we've got one player in their half. They've got 7. Okay, and we still score. We still score from this. So, Vieto, what you want from your player, as I said, you want an attacking striker who can get in behind the defence, but you also want someone who's going to hold it up. He holds it up right here, and you'll see perfectly how he does. So, he just holds, and he plays it out wide. First instinct, play it out wide. No one was really available on the left. Jordan Ibe wasn't really available on the right, but he knows if he puts the ball out there, he'll make sure he's available. So Jordan Ibe, has obviously the ball's coming towards him, play it on a bit more. Ibe just beats his man, and look at that. Vieto, he was here a minute ago when he played that ball out to Ibe. He's already the pretty much furthest player forward in that box. All Ibe's got to do again, whip it round the back of the defence, and you're just going to see, it's going to be a tap-in. It's an absolute tapping, but that's how you score these type of goals. We'll just take it back one more time, because I actually think this is a greater goal. It's superb, this goal, to be fair. So they just play the long ball, I believe it was, or yeah, so long ball, we win the header. One player in their half, one player, and when Vieto makes that pass, let's just take a look at where he was. He's there, he's probably a bit further back, because he's already made half that pass already. He's probably, I'd say, 30, 35 yards away from goal. And just watch Vieto, I'm just going to highlight him. So the ball goes on to Ibe, he takes it. He doesn't really hold on to it that much, and look how much room, well, how much ground Vieto's covered already. He's on his own already in that box, because the right back's too concerned with Mark and Damari Gray. I believe that's his name. Kante's getting double marked, as I said before. The defence double mark against players. He's getting double marked by their 2 centre backs, which just leaves Vieto just to run in behind. The midfield yet again picking no one up. Whoever that is, it's Tillysman. He could probably bomb on himself. He could probably get in that box, and they wouldn't even be bothered to pick him up, because they're not focused on the attacking trio, or the most creative players. They just forget about someone always, because we've got that much quality throughout the squad. Ball on the back. No one even thinks about going with Vieto, and he tucks it home. It's literally that easy. It's all about getting in behind the defence on the counter-attack, and obviously in this case it works perfectly. 3-0 away from home. You cannot complain with that. But that is all for this video. As I said, go and check out the tactic. There'll be a link down below in the description. I believe at the point of me posting this video, you can actually download this tactic on Football Manager and use it yourself. It's not called the invincible tactic just because I want it to sound great. I have actually gone invincible with this tactic, and I'll be sure to show you that very, very soon. I'll be bringing out the defensive video very, very shortly, so it basically looks at how solid the defense is and how teams cannot break us down at all. No matter whether you're home or away, they just struggle to break it down. I'm actually just going to show you that before we go. We'll go to... Okay, so just before I go, I'm just going to show you 25 goals conceded. Everyone else, I think the next lowest is 39, we're 25, so absolutely incredible. But thank you all for watching this video. Be sure, as I said before, drop a like, comment, subscribe. Thank you all for watching. Until next time, goodbye.